Hello and welcome back to Angular 2 Masterclass with Alejandro Rangel. In this section we are going to talk about the Angular architecture. This is a really important section of the entire masterclass because this will help you to understand which are all the sections and parts that confirm the Angular 2 architecture. In order to be a fully compliant Angular 2 ninja, you should master all these areas independently and then know how they fit together, one next to the other one or on top in layers. So, what do you need to learn in Angular 2 in order to master the entire architecture of Angular? First of all, you should know about components. What is a component? A component, it's a JavaScript class that it's going to serve as a glue code between a view, a template, and the business logic. So we will have a class with a lot of code that represents the logic of an entire view that the user see in a specific state of the application. Then you should learn directives. Directive is a concept inherited from Angular 1, and it's a way to define custom properties, custom elements in the DOM that modify the behavior or the style of your HTML. You should learn about how the data is retrieved and how it's displayed in the interface in our templates using interpolation, data binding, event handlers, and two-way data binding. You should master forms. This is super important in any application because it's the entry point between the user interface and the data that they fill in our forms and the data that we send to our server. So it's important to always validate the data that we receive from the user. The next part that we should master is services. Services are singletons, classes that will serve for a single purpose. So we can think about them like a user service. So this service will take care about all the users methods that will retrieve information from the server, will add users, delete users. So it's a singleton with a single purpose. You should learn about pipes. Pipes are what in Angular 1 was filters, and the purpose of a pipe is to receive an input, apply a transformation, and then you have an output. It could be, for example, that you receive a number, you pass the number through a transformation, and then the number becomes a currency with the dollar or the euro symbol. So you can reuse the pipes through the entire application. You should learn about routing. Also, this is one of the most challenging parts in any Angular application because as Angular provides the option to work with single page applications, the routing is the main component to go from one page to the other one without going to the server to refresh an entire page. A new concept in Angular 2 is the life cycle. It's not per se something that you should be aware at the beginning, but every component has a life cycle where you can attach functions to the init of the component, to the destroyed of this component, and so on. And this will help to initialize and to clean our information every time that we go from one page to other one. So yes, this is the diagram that the Angular website offered to us in order to understand the architecture of Angular 2. In the main area, in the center of the screen, you can see that everything is around the component. So we will be writing a lot of components in Angular 2, and they will be decorated with metadata. This means that our component becomes a component with a specific behavior through metadata that Angular provides to us. A component is in charge of handling one template. This is the view that will be displayed to the user. Remember the model view controller architecture. So these templates will be the view, what the user see in the screen, and we can retrieve information from the template using event binding and property binding. also to display data for the user. If we want to modify the behavior of the DOM consistently, we can use directive, and directive are just regular classes, JavaScript classes, that will be molded or created with certain behavior through metadata that Angular gives to us. Next to the component on the left, we have the services. So we will have a pool of services available to every component in order to perform certain tasks. And we can think about Angular in general as a modular oriented architecture. So we create a component that uses services and several layers, and all of these will be modules that we can reuse and mix with other components. So let's take a look how does everything that is explained here looks in code. We will code everything that we explain in these slides during this masterclass, but if you are rushed to see this in code, just let's take a look how it's going to be in the end our final application in this masterclass. So I have the final result of the application already open in WebStorm, and we can see here that we have, for example, an app component. This is, as you can see here, the component is just a normal TypeScript class, and it becomes a component and a routing component through decorators that we import from the Angular 2 class. So we import from here the router, and from here the component. A component can talk with other components, and as we can see here, and also we have the template that we were talking in the slides. Here we have, for example, one service that the purpose of this service is to search in an API, albums in this case, and to retrieve the album information from Last.fm API. So this is the purpose of a service, and as we can see here, we can use the service through the dependency injection in our components. Let's take a look. What else can I show as a preview for the next videos? We have a pipe. This is the definition of a pipe, and it applies a transformation. In this case, this pipe will receive a string, and then it will check the length of the string and respond with a smaller string plus 3 dots in case that the length is greater than a value that the user configured. So this is a kind of transformation, and we can use this in the DOM. What else? We have directive here. This is the next part, and with a directive is just a class with certain functions that modify the DOM. We have here, for example, the highlight directive. This directive will change the color of a HTML element depending on mouse enter, mouse leave, and so on. So this is kind of the architecture of Angular 2, and in the next videos we will be talking in detail about the implementation of all these blocks that I briefly mentioned. So see you in the next video.